Okay, well, this is going to be a reading for Sag. I have already shuffled and I just got pulled. I wasn't intending to use these cards. I really don't think I've ever used these cards more than maybe 3 times. I do not use them often. I just shuffled all the decks that I thought I was going to use, and I was pulled to these. So, these are the Shaman's Dream Oracle cards. We're going to see what messages they have for you. I keep cutting on Covenant. Sacred Contract. I'm not sure what that's about. And we're ready to get started. Let's see. Okay. So, Spirit, what would you like Sagittarius to know? What are the messages that you have for them? What are the messages that you have for Sag? Oh, okay. We're gonna wait for the perfect card, huh? There we go. Skybridge. I cut on this one too a couple times. Possibility for union. Interesting, because I also was cutting on, what was it, Sacred Contract? I want to see if I can find wherever that was. I don't know. Oh, Covenant, Sacred Contract. So these two, I kept cutting on these. Interesting. Okay. What else? Skybridge. Shut up. Shut the hell up. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. It happens often, but it doesn't happen that often. It happens often enough, but like you just saw that in real time. So, all right, we have Covenant, Sacred Contract. So, this is when it's saying possibility. I will read out of the book, but when it's saying possibility for union, you know, that does kind of indicate that it's something about some sort of love, dynamic, partnership, relationship, vanishing mirror, ego sublimation. Okay. Let's see what the hell these cards are talking about. What does 58 break down to? That would be a 13, I believe, which is then a 4. So that has to do with stability, being grounded, a foundation. Oh, wow. This is like so new. I've had these for so long, but I've literally never used them like that. Okay. Well, this is going to be an interesting reading because that was a lot all at once in the beginning. All right. Possibility for union. What needs to be connected or disconnected? You stand before a seemingly unbreachable abyss, and there is no possibility of retreat. The path behind you is no longer a viable option. You have to act soon, though, or you run the risk of being stuck at the edge of the cliff. Okay. Life has brought you to this moment to offer you as yet undreamt of possibilities, but you must no longer postpone what you know to be inevitable. And yes, you are allowed a breath or two before the leap. So take a bit of time to yourself. Get away for a day or two of contemplation, or even just a few minutes. Walk to clear your head. Muster your courage so that you may cross the sky bridge. Sky bridge appears when the moment is absolutely right for a quantum leap. Life believes you are ready, even if you do not agree. Remember not to confuse your true state of readiness with your plans and preparation. Respond with a determined yes and let the universe take care of the details. You need only to hold on to your positive affirmation, and the way will become obvious as you take flight and clear the abyss. Sorry. I've had a scratch in my throat all night. My apologies if you can hear me gulping. It's quite disgusting, I'm sure. Any hoozle. So, okay. So this is something that's coming into union. This could have to do with love and partnerships, obviously. But it also could be your purpose. As I read further into it, it does have to do with something that you are destined for or currently in alignment for, something that you may have been praying for, wishing for, hoping for, something that you've envisioned for yourself, possibly since you were little. The contract here is an indication that it's something you signed up for, maybe prior to coming to Earth, if you believe in that sort of thing. And now is the time to fulfill the contract. Commitment, sacred contract, the greater good. You are being invited now by the universe to enter into a sacred contract. The covenant card may also be a call to recognize that an ancient agreement you made with spirit needs to be renewed or canceled and torn up. Okay. I like that. Because we do have choices, we do have free will. And if something is no longer suitable for you and the life that you dream of or that you do feel you're destined for, then you can, ex-nay it. Is an opportunity showing up right now that is full of promise, but you are unable to sign and seal the deal and commit to it? The reason is that it needs to be elevated to a sacred covenant. A covenant must be founded on the truth, not your truth or his truth or her truth, but a greater truth that takes the destiny of all into account. The covenant is not about your agenda only. Spirit must be invited to come to the table as a guarantor of the good faith of all and to ensure that the direction you are embarking in will be for the greater good. It's important that you understand what you are signing up for. Be sure to read the fine print, so as not to commit to something you will soon regret or that will compromise your integrity. Do not hesitate to put all your own cards on the table so that your motives and desires are transparent and nothing is left in darkness. When shadow elements remain hidden, the covenant breaks down and becomes a contract with an unspoken dark side that is inevitably fulfilled. Okay. So this is something that you will be approaching or are already involved in. And if you are already involved, it's asking you to take it to the next level, to make sure that you are in alignment with it or said person fully, both parties. And at the end of the day, you can never really twist someone's arm to make sure that they're showing all of their cards and that, they're not leaving anything in the dark as well. But from a karmic standpoint, it is important that you do so and not be in a defensive, protective energy in fear that they are not. Because if they are, then that's where the imbalance is going to come into play. And also, if they are in alignment and they are laying their cards on the table or whatever this thing is, and you don't go all in, that's truthfully, it's giving self-sabotage. That would be, because there's something that you've been hoping or praying for or wishing for or have seen yourself doing or maybe never really thought could happen. And you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot before you really give it an opportunity. You know what I mean? Vanishing mirror, ego sublimation, letting go of self-centeredness, becoming a vessel of possibility. I'm sensing a theme. Do you ever wonder if your self-definition has become too rigid, too fixed around what you've come to learn, so that you contract your life into zones of safe versus unsafe? Okay, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. This here is okay, but over there, well, that might be too risky. And that's exactly what allowing somebody to put all of their cards on the table and not putting yours in fear that they're not. Oh, they're doing construction outside, sorry. Holding back and reserving in fear that somebody else is not. That's out of your control. Overconfidence. Wait. Judgment, fear, self-righteousness, and overconfidence are only some of the traits that keep you from evolving. We are all products of our conditioning. So remember that this is part of the human experience. Yet, you are not meant to remain static, seeking only what you expect. Even if it appears ambitious, it's still too narrow. I like that. Wait. Yet you are not meant to remain static, seeking only what you expect. Even if it appears ambitious, it is still too narrow. So this is really about opening yourself up to limitless possibilities, things that you may have not even foreseen for yourself due to conditioning, right? Things that have been indoctrinated and group thinking, and allow yourself to be guided. Allow yourself to be guided and pulled to whatever it is that's really for you, because it's something that only you can do in the way that you would do it, obviously, because there's only one you. But it's something that has greater meaning than what you can fathom. And so, like I said, even if it's something that may appear to be ambitious, it may not still hold the value, the meaning, the fulfillment in your life or the lives of others or the world, the greater good, the collective, the animals, the energy, whatever. That impact may be unfathomable. It may forever be unfathomable. But if we close ourselves off because we can't see it or because we never saw it for ourselves, then we're not allowing ourselves the proper time and space to expand into the things that are really part of our, I was going to say soul's mission, part of our journey, what's going to help us and our families, our friends, the greater good to evolve the best way possible. Truthfully, we don't know the best all the time, So surrendering, that's what I'm getting from this, like surrendering to the possibilities. Okay, you go nowhere when you hesitate to move out of your comfort zone. When you focus too much on yourself, this way you become a servant of the ego. It edges God out. Removing the magic of possibility. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing only what you are now. If you can let your self-definition soften, moving beyond the veil of your potential, a magical emptiness exists where all things are possible. Look again. Who could you be? What would you see reflected if you allowed yourself to be other than how you define yourself now? Nothing less is required of you now. In this moment, let go of who you think you are and allow a new you to emerge. You will recognize yourself as what you are, a partner in co-creation, in service to the divine. Doesn't it feel good? Okay, you know what I'm getting from this? There's something that you've been limiting yourself on, something that you know that you need to do, something that you've been pulled to do pulled or drawn to create, something that's been inspiring you or that really interests you, and you may have been resisting it or not taking it as seriously because of maybe what you've been conditioned to believe or think about who you are or who the people are or what the thing is that you're interested in or pulled to. Which it kind of reminds me of an interesting story. Something that I experienced recently. There's something that I'm very, very passionate about that I adore. I love it. It's outside of diving into the spiritual realms and learning about the dark arts and spirituality and healing and consciousness and all these things. Outside of that, this is the only other thing that really lights me up in the same way, that I get that fascinated and passionate about, to where I could stay up all night engulfing myself. And almost my whole life there has been a strong resistance to allowing myself to be in that space and in that flow and really connect with it. And the times that I have connected with it, I've still kept it very hidden, but connect with it in a space that's very open and expansive and loving and vulnerable. And what I realized, that's gone. Okay, let's just start there. That's gone. I have let that go. I finally figured out what part of that was. Part of it was who I thought that I should be, how I thought that I should look, how I thought that I should act, how I thought that I should represent myself, how I thought that I should depict or portray my interests and the things that, kind of keep the things that light me up hidden and wear a mask. Truly, that's what it was. And the other thing is my own conditioning and then the conditioning of others. And it sounds very silly, but this comes from, me being very, very young, starting to experience this. So take that with a grain of salt. This is coming from a literal child's mind, where the information that I perceived and stored from, elementary school, I've carried with me unconsciously. And that's a big part of the resistance to that thing. It was that a lot of the people that I saw involved, engulfed in the very thing that I'm interested in, that I love, that I'm passionate about, that lights me up, were very quiet. Very quiet. I'm quiet. I'm definitely very quiet, but I'm also not. I'm also extremely extroverted. They were very quiet. A lot of them in school were the kids that got picked on. I was definitely in the middle. Like, I was friends with everybody, or I was cool with everybody. You know what I mean? So I didn't really get picked on a lot until later. But I also wasn't doing the picking. And I just would observe. I just kind of sat at the crossroads between the two. And I saw that these kids were a little bit outcasted. They were very quiet, probably misunderstood, rejected in a sense because they weren't as loud and outgoing. And they always seemed to be, the kids that had, and this is me now in hindsight, but it's like the kids that didn't have the shoes that everybody wanted. They would wear a different pair of shoes for whatever reason. Or I remember Converse were so big. Like, we were obsessed with Converse, and what was the other one? Vans. So it's so trivial now in hindsight, but the kids that weren't wearing Converse or Vans usually were the kids in the realm of what I'm talking about. And so I started to associate that with them. Like, the people that do this stuff are kind of rejected. They're kind of ostracized. And because I'm already sitting at the crossroads, if I lean too far this way, I then too may be ostracized or rejected. But if I lean too far this way, then I'll be doing the rejecting. So I don't want to do that because it didn't feel right. But in the same token, I'm not going to lean too far or become too close or connected with anybody over here. And this is something that I just processed in the last year of my first experiences, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. You're not thinking about it as an adult from a higher state of, being maturity, emotionally evolved, or emotionally intelligent, I should say, being empathetic. You're not thinking about it at that age often because we're just kids. But now in hindsight, I can see how that created a barrier. And it's so silly. It's so silly to not follow the thing that we're passionate about or the thing that lights us up or that we're the most interested in, that we can get lost in because of this preconditioning, which could quite literally date back to your 8-year-old self. And it could be something more significant, like your family potentially shunning you or rejecting you for these interests or this thing. It could be something more significant like that. Or it could be something as simple as those kids didn't wear Converse and Vans and they got picked on. And I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to be like them. And I'm not going to allow myself to engulf in that space. It could be something as simple as that. But in order to kind of break that seal and get past that, I think it's important to take a smidge of a deeper dive into whatever the things are that are blocking you and releasing it. Like the covenant card said, like releasing it. If that contract, that version of you, that survival tactic, that ego space isn't necessary anymore to survive. Like, look at me, for example. I'm alone in my house. There's no one here to tell me that what I'm doing is right or wrong. I'm allowed to just be and feel and do what feels right and what lights me up. So if you're now in a space where you don't care if people cast judgment, or you won't even allow people the opportunity to cast judgment, that's the perfect time to review this sacred contract and go, yeah, that got me here. That survival tactic got me here, but I don't need it anymore. Now I'm ready to step into my most authentic self, or I'm ready to find out who my most authentic self is. And even if you could potentially be rejected by friends or family, sometimes growing and evolving requires change of environment, change of friends. You know what I mean? I personally would rather, and I think that's a very Sagittarius thing, and Scorpio, I would rather be my most authentic self and lose whoever I need to if it means that I'm living in my truth, Sagittarius is very honest, very truthful, very blunt sometimes, could be abrasive. What more would you like to share, Spirit? Just went on okay, it's about a 20-minute conversation about that. What else did you want to share? What messages do you have for Sagittarius? Oh, it's a few too many. Yeah, they're literally waiting for the perfect card to come out. Okay. The Emperor. Nice. Okay. All right, so this is something to do with taking charge of your life and your destiny, really. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to become? Who are you already? What do you need to release? What do you need to let go? What are the characteristics, the traits, the attributes that no longer resonate with you and who you're becoming. But the Emperor is asking you to take a leadership role in your own life. And the Five of Cups is also asking you bluntly not to cry over spilled milk. There is stuff that you've lost and that you may continue to lose. This might be something that has been ongoing, that maybe you've been experiencing this unveiling of yourself. You may have been peeling back the layers for some time now. You might be on a journey. You might be working on self-actualization. And there has been loss, but they're almost asking you to we've acknowledged what's been lost. Now let's acknowledge what we still have and what there is to gain. The Hierophant and Judgment. This is about making a choice, a decision. This is a crossroads. A choice. This is a decision in regards to who you're going to be and what your beliefs will be from here on out, what you believe to be true for yourself, what you want to teach your friends, your family, how you want to commit to yourself, commit to them. If you haven't had kids yet, or if you have had kids yet, you plan to, you haven't, you have, whatever. How would you like to raise them? What beliefs do you want to pass down to them? The values, the things that you share. Also, really, if you're looking for, I don't know why I just got this, but like if you are looking for a partner, if you're looking for a life partner, father to your children, mother to your children, husband, wife, whatever, acknowledging, really understanding what your values are for you, specifically to you, nobody else, not what your mom told you, not what your dad told you, not what your church told you, not what your friends told you, not what your teacher told you. What do you believe for you? And you can take a little bit from everything that you've learned. It may even be calling you to do more research and develop, maybe look into other cultures and their belief systems, their shared values, and figure out what works for you, because we are in a time where you can choose anything for yourself. So choosing what's right for you also is choosing what's right for the greater good, and kind of standing on it, like stand on that, because this is also going to help you draw in the right partner who will have the same shared values. And if they don't, you can easily shift or sift through them. It's too many. And then you're off to a new beginning. Whatever these tweaks are, these changes, they are necessary to step into your new chapter. Whatever chapter that is. If you've recently divorced, I'm not sure why I just got that, but it's too many. If you've recently divorced, almost cleansing your energy and your thoughts from your ex-husband or ex-wife, and better understanding, like, what is my What are my own thoughts? What are my own beliefs? What are my experiences? How do I want to perceive this experience? How do I want to perceive what was said, not what this person kept telling me? And I don't know why I'm getting that so strong, but like what they kept telling me, I was perceiving was wrong, or my intuition was telling me this, and they kept telling me, no, this isn't it. Like, what do you believe? That might be for somebody. I don't know. That's very specific. Yeah. This is, there's a new chapter that is presenting itself to you. And in order to interesting. I don't know why. Okay, so this might not be for everybody. This is interesting. This might not be for everybody. Probably won't be. Okay. If you were recently divorced, or you are in the process of getting divorced, as you start to take back your power or your control, your spouse or ex-spouse may start to sense you moving on. And maybe they thought you never would. Okay, this is for somebody, because the covenant card did talk about ripping up a contract that no longer serves you. So if they sense that you, interesting, if they sense that you are actually serious, that you are actually starting to move on, that maybe they lost control over you, the Fool is on top of the Emperor card. That, I never do spreads like this, so this is definitely how it means something. Even the zigzagginess, I never do that. I don't know what, I'm just kind of doing it how I'm being led, but whatever. Once they have sensed or can feel that they've lost control over you, I'm getting that they're going to come in with some sort of offer of maybe healing the relationship, healing the situation, getting back together. If they, like, restoring balance with you, maybe taking ownership, maybe understand, like, coming in portraying this more healed, mature version of themselves. And this, especially if they were making you second guess or doubt your intuition, or kind of contorting your beliefs that you knew were false to fit what they wanted you to believe. Kind of like gaslighting, in a sense. Or just being very controlling and domineering. Especially that they may try to bring in a peace offering and try to restore balance. If you've suspected that they've been cheating, or you actually caught them cheating, or you know they have been, even if they've been saying they haven't, again, going back to trying to contort your beliefs and your ideas, doubt your intuition, I feel like they are going to present a really pretty offer. It may be believable. It may be something you've never heard this person take ownership or accountability in the way that they are. It may come in very wholesome and appear to be very stable and grounded. Can you show me another one for this Six of Pentacles? Stable and grounded, balanced. It's too many. But it's like you're being guided to walk away regardless, because you're faced with a choice here with Two of Wands. And all of these cards up here, we're talking about the greater good. He has the world in his hands. And I always interpret this card as choosing what lights you up, choosing what makes you feel the best, choosing something that might not be the safe route. It might not be as secure and stable on paper. It may not look good on paper. It may be the opposite of what everybody else is saying to do, because what everybody else would do is not what you're meant to do. And it may be a longer, slower process, a slower grind, a slower building. It may take more energy to build, but will ultimately take you farther because your heart is in it. And I always look at it like take you farther as far as like longevity, whether it's a career, whether it's a practice, whether it's a new belief system. It could be a relationship. It will take you farther emotionally, like the depths of your emotion. It will take you farther as far as time, the longevity of it. But I also just got randomly take you farther in life, not just talking about career, monetarily, like a longer, happier life. Like something about the option that's being presented, one seems less stable. It seems like it's going to be harder. It seems like it's going to be more work. And it doesn't look as good on paper, but it will end up being more fruitful, and it will offer you the world. It may even offer a possibility to travel. It may open the doors for that. It may require lots of travel. It may just give you enough time and finances to be able to travel. I don't know what that is, but if it is like work or something, but it's asking you to choose the thing that lights you up, that feels the best, not the thing that appears to be more stable, that appears to be more secure, that looks good on paper, because that is going to be soul crushing. And if it's soul crushing, I'm getting, I don't know why, like shorter lifespan. It's weird, but for some reason, this other one I got with the more fulfilled root, living in a space of happiness and love and joy. It's going to extend your life. So this is like a hard decision, but ultimately you'll end up turning your back on one of the options, two options. You could have more than two, but about two options. And yeah, this is something that you'll need to use your head and intellect over your heart. Use your wisdom, your internal compass to make the decision. Only you will know what's best for you. But what comes after the Eight of Cups? That's like a very specific message. So that, okay. So you're choosing to turn your back on something. The Five of Pentacles, they're outside of the church. It's cold. This guy, I think he's on crutches. He's hurt. This person doesn't have shoes on. He's walking in the snow. It's very cold and uncomfortable. Very cold and uncomfortable. And like the whole thing about it is like they could go in the church and get warm, but like I don't know if they've been rejected, back to that, or if they're too stubborn, because the Pentacles is earth. Earth energies are very stubborn. If they're too stubborn, it's like the solution is right under their nose, but they refuse to look at it, see it, and therefore are left out. Therefore, they're left in the cold. Therefore, they are basically engulfed physically and emotionally in I wanted to say like illness of their decisions or something. But this is you choosing to walk away from something that has been challenging, something that has been stubborn, something that has been frustrating, cold. You may even choose to feel cold. And I also just got with this, they could have even been inside the church where it's warm, but they didn't feel at home. You know, it's the house of God. They may not have felt home. And that's not to mean that like they shouldn't be in there. That's not what that means at all. More so, I'm looking at it in the space of like, maybe, you know, because all churches are different. Maybe the church that is really for them, that resonates with them and aligns with them, is down the block. So they chose, maybe they were in there and they didn't feel welcome. And they chose to venture down and see what else is out there, where they will feel more warm and welcome. And it's worth walking barefoot in the snow to get there, because once they find it, it's warm. You know, you don't have to go back out. They're safe. I'm using that. I should have used the actual home metaphor, because that's how I was thinking about it, like an actual home. When I said house of God, that's what I was thinking of, like house, your home. So I don't know. I feel like this might have something to do with somebody going through a breakup or a marriage, ending of a marriage. We also have the Tower that came out. I didn't realize that the Five of Wands was underneath. Yeah. This is going to shock somebody or a group of people. This is very sudden. I think that maybe even if they saw it coming, they didn't actually think that you would follow through, or they didn't actually think that you would move away from them, that you would end it, that you would put up boundaries, that you would choose different or choose better for you. I think they thought that they had a lot of control and ownership in your life, or whatever this thing is. And the Five of Wands is choosing to move away from the conflict and the competition. If somebody had you in a relationship that they were had you competing against somebody else, if they had a mistress, I don't know what the option would be for that's letting go. Queen of Wands, this is Sag energy. Stepping back into your power. Knight of Pentacles, moving forward. And this is interesting because the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight, right? Slow. What did I say about it's a slower option? It may seem more strenuous, you know, as far as work, time, diligence, but it's going to be more rewarding. All right, there we go. And here you are choosing to build slowly from the ground up. I'm about to end this. Is there anything else you would like to share? I feel like you have a good head on your shoulders and you know what you want. You know what you deserve. Anything else? Wow. Yeah. This is literally starting over on something, and I don't want that to scare you, because that can be overwhelming to think about, but this is starting over on something. Not allowing things of the past to come back, not even working or cultivating any of the seeds planted from the past anymore, just choosing to move ahead alone, in alignment with your soul and your heart, and allowing the process of rebuilding to take place. It's interesting because he has this wand, right? And he's fighting off all of these other ones. He's blocking these other ones with the 7 of Wands. So it's like, I'm choosing me. I'm choosing me. And it might be slow. I might be alone, but it's better than all of this. It's better than all of this chaotic, aggressive, competitive energy, conflicting energy, where people are trying to get me. I feel like somebody's always trying to get me, or I'm afraid that I'm going to get got because you got me before, and now I have to have my guard up all the time. Like, it's better than doing that. It's blocking this and choosing not to continue to pour into, nurture these things if it's tied to this aggressive energy, or the energies that are dismissive or hurtful or unprovoked even. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that there. I think that you have a good head on your shoulders and you know what to do. And I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, give it a like, maybe a subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.